Wire Television. Kern County in depth with 17's Jim Scott.
Good evening and thanks for being with us this Saturday evening. These are exciting and challenging times for the Bakersfield City School District. Voters passed a $110 million school bond for the district back in November. Teachers just got a pay raise. And thanks to Governor Jerry Brown and the legislature, the district now has more discretion to spend state funds to meet specific needs. That's the local control and accountability plan they've been working on for the past year or so. And the district has a new superintendent in Harry Doc Ervin, who comes to the largest elementary school district in the state with some 30,000 students from a district in Monterey County with 3,500 students and 4 schools. Doc Ervin, as he's known, has his work cut out for him. BCSD still lags far behind the state average for student test scores in math and English proficiency. There's a huge achievement gap between white and minority students. Let's throw some numbers up on the screen to set the table for you. In the last round of state testing of 3rd through 8th graders, 48% of the students statewide were proficient at English, 37% made the grade in math. In Kern County, 38% proficiency in English, 25% in math. But black students are way behind, 31% proficient in English, 18% in math. That's statewide. Kern County, the numbers are even lower for African American and Hispanic students, even though overall some progress has been made. BCSD Superintendent Harry Doc Ervin is my guest tonight, along with Mark Luque. He's the Assistant Superintendent for Educational Services, and Steve Comstock is President of the Bakersfield Elementary Teachers Association, or BETA for short. Good evening, gentlemen. Good to have you with us.
Good evening. Good evening.
All right, Mr. Ervin, let's start with you. You signed a 3-year contract with the district. One of your primary missions is to close the academic achievement gap. And one of the biggest changes you've made, as I understand it, is implementing what is known as the universal access model of teaching in your classroom. Tell our viewers about that.
Yeah, so one of the things that we did this year so far when we started was we went to a universal design for learning, which is really planning and prepping for good first instruction, and then embedded in that was universal access, which making sure that teachers have support they need for small group instruction throughout all of our classroom, whether in stations, and that really allows teachers to really pinpoint and target students who are still struggling with those basic foundational skills. For example, when you visited our schools yesterday with us, you saw a lot of small group instruction where teachers were providing targeted supports for students, but everything was literacy based. So that's a really big push this year, and we're going to close that achievement gap. We got to make sure we don't create any gaps or widen any gaps by providing support to students in the classroom. And one of the things is training and prepping our teachers on how to provide for that small group instruction environment.
Early literacy is the goal here, no doubt about the overriding goal, right?
Right.
Now, you've also broken the district into 4 regions and assigned regional administrators to them. What's the benefit of that?
I think the service delivery model is to provide additional supports on the ground. So that means, for example, in the past, where you have an area administrator that now supports and focuses on 12 schools, 10 to 12 schools, and that individual has a team of specialists. So it could be a literacy specialist, an ELD specialist, a math specialist, PBIS across the board. So it really is vertical and horizontal supports. So for in the past, for example, if a teacher or a principal made a call to the district office, at the district office, you would support 43 schools. Now is really targeted to 12 schools within those clusters.
And this is a big school district, 43 schools. Now, Mark Luque, this is an idea, this regional administrator idea. This has been kicked around for years, right?
Yes, it has.
And so what's the difference now?
Well, the difference is added support. So the idea previously was one administrator to support, in some cases, up to 15 school sites. In the past, we had 3 positions similar to an area administrator known as a director of school support, more schools. Now, along with the area administrator, we have a team of specialists who can deploy out to school sites, whether it be an individual classroom teacher, a grade level team, or a larger school-wide issue. There's ongoing support from the district to provide targeted assistance to the school sites. And above that is the added benefit of wraparound service, so coming back and cycling back through 5 to 10 days later just to check on progress. So it's the ongoing support to school sites that's benefited our schools, and as we monitor that data in terms of support calls to schools, we've logged over 1,800 support calls thus far this year by our total team. So we're excited about that. We're seeing the progress of that work through our classroom teachers, and we love the fact that our teachers are engaged in supporting our work and doing the heavy lifting every day in our classrooms across the district, so we're excited.
I imagine you give some credit to Doc Ervin here for lighting the fire and getting this thing going, right?
No, definitely. You know, he sets the vision along with our school board, and our job is daily to make sure the work is happening at our school site.
Steve Comstock, what do the teachers within Bakersfield Elementary Teachers Association think of the changes that have been implemented so far?
Change isn't always easy, but I think that a lot of the changes that they've made have been very positive. I mean, as far as getting the extra supports to the sites, I mean, that's been really beneficial to the staff, to the teachers.
Targeting teachers' aides as well and that kind of thing, embedding them, and
as long as they're used correctly. You know, I think teachers' aides can be used well, and then sometimes there's maybe other things that we could do. But I mean, it's a new program, so the teachers themselves have to get used to the new ways we're doing things, because we didn't add a lot of new programs this year, but we added a lot of new strategies and ways that we're doing things. So this year is definitely, there's been a lot of growing pains, but I think that we're seeing a lot of them really kind of catch on to it now, because there have been a lot of improvements.
Yeah, change is always different.
It is.
Moving your cheese around, you know. As
well, but as a teacher, the students are changing, so we have to be able to roll with that. We have to be able to change.
What more do the teachers want, though, to help close this achievement gap? What's at the top of their list of priorities?
You know, students at BCSD, because people have to remember, BCSD is an urban district. It is not a rural district. Our students really come to us not really in a learning mode, but in a survival mode. And I think one of the best things that our district has added to this year, personally, I think, is the wellness centers. I think if we can take that model and expand on that, because we have kids coming to us that are hungry, they're coming from broken homes or homes that don't have the supports.
Need access to health care as well.
Absolutely. And those are things that, if the students don't have to worry about those things when they get to the classroom, they're ready to learn.
Right.
But we haven't seen that so much. And this year, seeing those 3 wellness centers open up, I think is a big deal.
That's one way that the district has shifted some of its LCAP funds over to fund these wellness centers. What other ways, gentlemen, has the district shifted funds in order to meet specific needs under this LCAP formula? Is there any specific?
Well, there's a couple of things we've done so far. So, for example, we now have a new data management system in place for Illuminate. So teachers now can have access, so they can have direct data at their hands. So before they had an old, antiquated, outdated system. So now we have a new data management system that's in place. The second thing that we've done in terms of allocating funds is we have a family and community engagement rep at all of our sites now. Now we have a parent advocate at every single site on our campus at all 43. So that is very critical to the work that we do as well.
You know, just reinforcing the parent engagement factor, where we are running several different types of opportunities for parents to become engaged in the school system. Some include during the school day, after the school day. Saturdays are Parent University, and we are receiving 400 to 500 parents regularly as part of that university, and there's very positive feedback around that, and our goal is just to increase +1 every time. And I think that, in addition to the work of our teachers, is translating into more engaged students, better engaged students, and as we work forward, better outcomes for students.
Well, Mr. Ervin, I know agents of change aren't always popular. You've ruffled some feathers along the way. I've read some of the letters to the district that come to our newsroom calling you intimidating and say you've created a hostile and intimidating work environment. But you called yourself, when I was with you on the school tour the other day, you called yourself the education aggressor. What would you say to your critics who think you're just too tough?
Well, here's what I would say. If you have 80% of kids not proficient in math and you have 70% of kids not proficient in literacy, at what point do we say enough's enough? So when you don't do enough to close the achievement gap, there's complaints and concerns that urban districts are not doing enough. And then when you start pushing the envelope and you start doing what is in the best interest of kids, then people say you're ruffling feathers. So I always say that, listen, we're going to continue to make decisions that's in the best interest of kids, not adults. And unfortunately, if you think about it, anytime there's controversy in education, it's about adults. Yeah. You never hear the kids saying there's an issue. So my only thing is, hey, the bottom line is this. If anyone says I'm satisfied with 70% of the kids not reading at grade level, then we should have some serious conversations. All right. And so that's how I answer those questions.
Now, you've also created parent liaison positions with each of the district's 43 schools, and now comes the creation of a Parent Advisory Council for African American students in the Bakersfield City School District, and we're going to get to that when we come back. You're watching Kern County in Depth.
Because footlongs are the limousines of hot dogs. We're celebrating footlongs limo style.
That's right.
Man.
That's cool. I understand that they're really awesome and worth celebrating, but I wish we were in a limo. We're just sitting in the back of my car with a limo driver in the front.
Oh, he's not a limo driver.
Who is he?
I don't know. I thought you knew him.
No, I don't know him.
Cool. Mystery.
Pair a footlong quarter-pound Chicago dog or any of our 4 flavors with tots for just $3.99. And don't forget drinks are half price during happy hour every day. This is how you Sonic.
We're not able to take you, but we are the best at helping you get there. In this brand new 2016 Cougar 26 DBH, you'll save $10,620. Sky River RV, helping you make memories one adventure at a time.
Beginning Tuesday on 17 News at 5, a Bakersfield man in prison for murder.
22 years.
Wrongly convicted.
I never gave up.
How he was exonerated.
I'm going to fight for the underdog, especially when he's innocent.
Proven innocent. Will he ever receive the compensation he's due?
It's all a game.
The incredible story of a man's struggle for true justice. Innocent behind bars. Tuesday on 17 News at 5.
Well, we had all local players, so we got a lot of support.
Their impact was on and off the football field.
It was a good time to be alive and up at BC.
And their legacy will forever live on at Bakersfield College.
That probably was the best years of my life.
We were very fortunate, very fortunate.
The coaching legends that helped put Bakersfield College football on the map.
Gridiron Legends of Bakersfield football. Sunday on 17 News at 5.
Welcome back. We're talking about closing the academic achievement gap within the Bakersfield City School District. Okay, panel, is there a correlation between student performance and parental involvement? Steve Comstock, let me start with you.
Absolutely. I mean, the more involved you have the parents, the more they're working with their kids and show the value of education, the better the students are going to do. I mean, all you have to do is look at different districts around Kern County.
Right.
I mean, we suffer from a lack of parent involvement, and it's not completely the parents' fault. A lot of them working 2 jobs, they're single parent families trying to take care of their families and provide these necessities that a lot of us take for granted. I mean, you look at some of the other districts around the county, and they have very strong parental support, not just at home, but inside the schools as well. And that's something that we struggle with a lot at BCSD.
Okay, so now a new initiative. The district has created this African American Parent Advisory Council. Tell me how that will work. We'll start with you, Mr. Ervin.
Well, I think the African American Parent Advisory Committee is a council gives us another opportunity to hear parents' voice, because we hear about the fact that our students, our African American students, are not achieving at the level that we want. And so I think this council is another needs assessment. It gives us another opportunity to hear their voice on what's really working well within our district in terms of providing support for our African American students. And I think number 2, what's not working and what kind of additional supports do they like to see on the ground. And I think, again, it happens with all of our other committees like DLAC, ELAC, our Margaret program, all of our programs. We want to hear parents' voice, and this is just another council that gives us another additional input. So when we're making decisions for the 17-18 school year, we've heard their voice.
And the African American Parent Advisory Council, why African American parents? Are they the ones? I mean, the correlation, parent involvement and student achievement are tied together. Are you seeing lower levels of parental involvement among African American parents of your students?
I think across the board we just want more parents involved within our schools, because remember, there's a huge correlation between a parent's involvement, your involvement as a parent, and your child's academic performance. So we're trying to make sure that we have an impact on all areas, not only our Latino students or white students, but our African American students, because we truly believe that all kids have to be provided with a quality educational program. So one of the one of the recommendations that came out of our Closing the Achievement Gap Committee was they like to see an African American Parent Advisory Council. So again, another stakeholder group to provide us with some additional input on how well we're doing as a district and what can we do to close that achievement gap. And Mark, you want to add something to that?
Sure. I think it's our responsibility and duty to create the conditions for all of our students to be successful in our district. And there's a 28% achievement gap between our white students and our African American students in language arts in our district. we have to respond to that. And part of that response is listening to our parents and our family members in terms of how can we better engage their children in learning.
Okay.
So
now, yesterday, or make that Tuesday was the deadline to apply to be part of this advisory council. You're going to still accept applications if they're in?
Yeah, of course. I mean,
okay. And some of these students come from broken homes. Will you accept applications from grandparents, from aunts, uncles?
Yeah, and we said caregivers. Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I want to add very quickly, though, keep in mind too that we're pushing heavily the importance of parent involvement, because, for example, at our parent university just recently, last weekend, we had over 429 parents.
Wow.
So we've been averaging over 400 to 500 parents every month at our parent universities.
Is that encouraging to you?
That is very encouraging, because originally I told them I think we're going to probably, get a couple of hundred here or there, but we start getting over 400, so that's encouraging. And again, at the end of the year, we're going to be able to look at our data to see out of those 400, how many were consistently involved with their child's education, and did we see some growth, or was there an impact?
Gotcha. Quickly, before we go to break, how can parents get involved if they haven't yet filed an application for this advisory council?
I think they reach out to their child's school, they submit that application, they let their principal know, or they reach out to the district office, and then obviously we definitely want parents to be a part of this process.
Okay, great, gentlemen. Mark Luque, Steve Comstock, I want to thank you for being here. I'm going to excuse you. We're going to bring in a couple more guests, and we'll keep Doc Ervin around for one more segment. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time. Okay. When we come back, the role of mentoring in closing the academic achievement gap in the Bakersfield City School District. You're watching Kern County In Depth.
Next, ET, new Beyonce pregnancy details how expecting twins is changing everything from her performances to her Grammy plans. Plus, we are with the sexy stars of 50 Shades Darker. Next, ET.
Weeknights at 7.
On the next, Access Hollywood.
As we approach the 10-year anniversary of Anna Nicole Smith's death, Larry Burkhead versus Howard K. Stern, the heated courtroom face-off.
Next, Access Hollywood.
Weeknights at 7:30.
It's Weatherby's excess inventory sale. Our warehouse is overstocked and we must make room. This means incredible blowout savings throughout the store. Shop huge reductions on name brands like Lane, Benchcraft, Pulaski, Serta, Ashley, and more. Blowout prices on living rooms, bedrooms, mattress sets, recliners, dining rooms, reclining living rooms, leather living rooms, sectionals, and more. Plus, we deliver it free. Don't miss Weatherby's excess inventory sale. Weatherby's Furniture since 1921.
The burden of learning is on the student.
How you can ensure your student is receiving a quality education.
I'm Alex Fisher with the 5 things local educators say parents should do to ensure their child is thriving in the classroom.
What can you do in 10, 15 minutes?
It's not like the parents today are the same parents of 20 years ago.
Help us understand their child better.
Learn 5 things about your child's education. Thursday morning on 17 News at Sunrise.
The burden of learning is on the student.
How you can ensure your student is receiving a quality education.
I'm Alex Fisher with the 5 things local educators say parents should do to ensure their child is thriving in the classroom.
What can you do in 10, 15 minutes?
It's not like the parents today are the same parents of 20 years ago.
Help us understand their child better.
Learn 5 things about your child's education. Thursday morning on 17 News at Sunrise.
Welcome back. Joining me now, Manny Carrizales, founder of Stay Focused Ministries and Reach for Greatness Mentoring, and Danny Morrison, founder of the #HowLong movement and creator of Project Dynamo, a student mentoring project now in the pilot project stage, the formative stage, if you will. Welcome to you both, gentlemen. Some of the underperforming students in the Bakersfield City School District are struggling with external issues outside the classroom that are perhaps holding them back. Poverty, broken homes, broken hearts, influence of street gangs. So, Harry, Ervin, how important is mentoring to the overall goal of closing this achievement gap in the Bakersfield City School District?
Yeah, so I think it's very important. So one of the things that we're trying to do is we're trying to provide as many resources and supports available for students across the board. So we have 30,000 students, and our goal is to make sure that 30,000 students are academically successful. So for example, right now we have a partnership with Reach for Greatness, and they're mentoring over 500 students. Again, that's 500 students that we're going to ensure that when those students leave 8th grade, those students are leaving with 8th grade skill set, right? Those students are being academically successful. So there's a correlation between this, a mentor that a student or he or she receives and their academic performance, and also behavior-wise, their attendance. So there's a lot of areas that can improve for a kid. So for us, it's critical. That's 500 students that they're working with. That's 500 more students that we're working to help close the achievement gap.
Okay, I go back to the LCAP program. Are you shifting more money into mentoring within the district?
Yeah, those dollars that are currently, that Reach for Greatness is currently getting, those dollars are allocated in LCAP, absolutely.
Now, so do you think that the need for mentors is greater than the supply of mentors in the district?
Well, that's a good question. We have 500 students, but we only have, I think Manny could talk about it, we have about 89. And that's a challenge because, again, when we had our CPI event, we need 500 mentors. So, again, the challenge is we got to continue to reach out and encourage our members of the community. Because think about it, we have 30,000 students, and we have times 2, that's 60,000 parents. And if you look at the broader community, there's about 400,000 people that live in Bakersfield. So the challenge is, why can't we get 500 mentors? So that's always a bigger question, right? But I think we can do it, but I think we got to continue to bang on doors and continue to encourage people to be a part of this process.
Manny Carrizales, talk to me about the services that you provide in Reach for Greatness, your mentoring program.
Well, one of the things is, you know, we have 89 mentors right now on campus. And as you know, we are in 17 elementaries and 7 middle schools. One of the things is making good decisions, behavior, attendance, grades, character, goal setting, peer pressure, anger management, critical thinking, all these different things they're dealing with. But one of the things we try to do is rebuild their heart, their broken heart, make them dream again, make them think. There's a saying that if your dream doesn't scare you, it's not big enough. We teach them that their vision has to be bigger than their excuses. And one thing I can say about this, I appreciate about the superintendent, he's no nonsense. He's manual, let's get it done, we got to do this, so we're ready. And we've been, so the thing is, it's team effort. This whole entire thing is a team effort. And I say that because, as you know, Friday, I did Zachary's funeral, this young man here. And he was 19 years old. He has 2 siblings that are at BCSD that we mentor. So my point is that it's a wraparound services. Reach them in the neighborhoods. We reach them in the schools. If not in the schools, we'll reach them in the streets.
Okay, very good. Now, Danny Morrison, you have Project Dynamo, your mentoring program. Dynamo is the longest acronym I've ever seen. But no, I'm just kidding. Dynamo is short for Developing Youth, Nurturing Ambition, and Magnifying Opportunities. I agree with all that. And you'd like to launch this pilot program in the district. What kinds of mentoring services are you proposing to offer?
I believe that mentoring is the missing component when it comes to the African-American child. I think that what has happened over a generation is things that haven't worked. I think fathers being absent in the home, you have to recruit African-American men in the community to get in front of these children. My program pretty much disposes of everything that has happened in the past because I think this generation is different than the ones prior. And I'll give it to you in a nutshell. Project Dynamo is, you give me your 10 lowest performing students in each school. I have a mentor that is a business person, someone that is not only from the neighborhood, that's somebody that has excelled in his own life, can show people exactly where he's come from. In addition, I'm going to have regular meetings, motivational speaking, field trips, volunteering. I think that is a component. You also have to show them the other side of things so they can...
Civic responsibilities.
That's exactly right. In addition, tutoring, we're using our local churches and black churches in specifics to use them as Project Dynamo tutoring sites. And also an official website. You got to have projectdynamo.com to where people can go in and they can see arts programs and sports programs and extracurricular activities. Plus, we have a paternal mandate with our program. Where is his father? That is the missing component with every other mentoring program in this city. We ask them and they go, well, he's in jail. I go, well, give me his inmate number then. And they go, well, he doesn't want to be involved. I go, tell me where he is, I'll go talk to him. I know every man in this city of color, trust me. If I don't know him, I know someone who knows him. We got to get the fathers involved. Could you imagine us going into the jails and recording a man that's in jail that doesn't have any relationship with his son, and recording him and taking that video to his son saying, you listen to those men in Project.
I would imagine that would be extremely effective. Harry Ervin, is there room within the Bakersfield City School District for more than one mentoring program?
I think so. I think we always want to take a look at that. I think we always have to make sure we follow all the guidelines. But obviously, if there's another program out there like Project Dynamo that has that nonprofit status and they're able to, you know, our team have the opportunity to look at it and vet it and look at it and see if that program can help us in terms of our goals, and of course. And right now, so far, yeah, we're working with Reach for Greatness, but again, when I came on as superintendent of schools, Reach for Greatness was already working with the district, so we continue that relationship. And then I recently met with Danny, and he talked about his Project Dynamo.
I got 30 seconds left. So, Manny, if there's someone out there who wants to be a mentor and wants to be involved with Reach for Greatness, where do they go?
They can call our office at 661-322-4673, 661-322-4673.
Danny Morrison, if somebody wants to get involved in Project Dynamo.
You give me a phone call. I can't get my number out, but get on our Facebook page.
You have a Facebook page for Project Dynamo?
Yes, I do.
And that's also associated with the hashtag How Long movement?
That's exactly right. And hit me anywhere on Facebook or hit me on my office number, 366-8003.
Right. Gentlemen, continued success to you both. We really appreciate what you're doing in the community. You're doing the heavy lifting, really are. I appreciate it. Doc Ervin, thanks for coming in. It was a bear getting you here, but I'm glad you finally came. All right, thanks, gentlemen. I appreciate your time. All right, we're back after the break.
We like Personal Express because we can actually walk into an office and talk to a person. You don't have to pick up a phone and talk to an automated voice. You can actually just walk in, have your question answered face-to-face. And we save a lot of money with the discounts over at Personal Express Insurance. The multi-car discount.
Good driver.
The home and auto.
And the home alarm.
You're supporting your neighbors. You're supporting the people that live in your area.
I think you should say that. That gave me goosebumps.
I just did.
Personal Express Insurance on Truxton Extension and in the marketplace.
Do you know someone special who deserves a Valentine's Day to remember this year? Log on and enter to win the Town and Country Village Valentine's Day to Remember contest and leave the rest to us. Enter to win by emailing a photo and story of a loved one who deserves a Valentine's Day to remember at kerngoldenempire.com. Be sure to get your story and photo in before February 12th at noon for a chance to win. Spread the love this Valentine's Day with someone special at the Merchants of Town and Country Village Shopping Center.
It makes me happy to make people happy.
At a glance, she doesn't look like a gun-toting, badge-carrying member of the Sheriff's Department.
Work can be very, very stressful.
Her life's goal was health and fitness until she faced the biggest fight of her life.
To be re-diagnosed 3 years later, that was pretty scary.
A touching story of the Kern County Chief Deputy, Shelley Castaneda, Tuesday morning on 17 News at Sunrise.
It wasn't going to beat me.
17 News, your Kern County news leader.
It's not just because we're first on scene.
It's because we're first with the facts.
As news breaks, your trust in 17 News goes into action. Reporters who care about your stories. A team of producers who gather the important information. Your news, your team. 17 News.
I guess that is our program for this week. Thanks for spending some time with us tonight. We'll be back next Saturday with another installment of Kern County In Depth. For all of us here at 17 News, I'm Jim Scott. Thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
What are you